So I wanted to talk a bit about both the experience of being transformed myself and of the collinear experience of helping to transform someone else. This is our team. We were beginning to team up at this point. I had not anticipated what that was going to mean. This is my transformative experience. Look around you. Look around this room. I don't know, are there 100 of you here? Maybe 150? If there are 100, look around you. Take a look. If there are 100 of you here, in my world, 4 of you are women. I was a junior in electrical engineering. I had dropped out of electrical engineering for the second or third time in my career. I hadn't actually signed the papers on this one. I could tell you I would not be here today, except Magda Iskander approached me in the class and said, I really need some help on this project. Could you help me out? At this time, I was trying to look like the carpet. I was hiding. And all of a sudden, somebody wanted my help. My help. I worked with him from the time I was a junior through my master's degree, and that's when I became an engineer. I became confident. I could solve problems. I loved what I was doing. Magdi changed my life. And now it's my turn. That delightful experience is the one thing I wish that I can give back to my world. So if you take a student on a transformative experience, take a look at this. This is not a bunch of engineers. This is a bunch of people who have no idea what the devil they're doing and they think they do. Be prepared to be transformed yourself. We started out as 4 individuals. Yes, we're dressed for Antarctica. Yes, we're sitting by the pool next to the palm trees in New Zealand. We were not quite sure what we were headed for. You heard David use the word fear. That is a real word in our experience. I was scared witless. We ended up as a team. This is the trip back home. Okay, now a classroom is like a penguin colony. It pretty much looks like this, right? This sea of faces. You know, it's a bunch of penguins out there, but pretty much it looks like a sea of faces. The place that your real learning happens, we all know this, is in small groups. It doesn't happen because of the 1,000 people I'm lecturing at. It happens because of the small groups that work together. But the one-on-one experience, that is always going to be transformative. So we went from a cautious student. David is one of our very best students, and he was cautious about this experience. And he went to a capable engineer, and I was there, and I got to watch this. Now, as teachers, as a professor of engineering, all of my students do actually become engineers, and I know it happens. But very rarely am I there for the experience when it happens. The moment when, oh my God, it didn't work. Okay, this doesn't freak me out. I'm an engineer. I know it didn't work. Of course it didn't work. We're going to try something else. But David looks at me with these big eyes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't disappoint him. It didn't work. So my fear level is actually increased because we're having problems and I can't let this student down. So that's my experience going on in parallel with his. He's panicking because it's not working. I'm panicking because he's panicking. I'm sorry, David. So it didn't work. And the next thing didn't work. In fact, when we got to the camp, the first thing we did, we were the electrical engineers, we blew the fuses and brought the entire camp down. I'll tell you, if you're gonna fail, you might as well do it in flames. We got it all working. And the next thing, okay, the next thing wasn't working, and the third thing, and the fourth thing, and the fifth thing. The math professor was getting pretty freaked out because it wasn't working. Of course it's not working. This is research. But watching him and the rest of our team join up with that experience of not just it didn't work, but what does it take to make it work? That's the engineering experience. My kid turned into a capable engineer. So taking a student out of their comfort zone, which was definitely the case here, guess what? You're likely to be out of yours too. And that's okay. Because part of this plan is to grow, to learn, to invent, to imagine, to break things, to experience, to play, to change. You are going to change if you change another person. This is what you do, and you do it together. A thinking student is a powerful force. The first picture David took of himself in Antarctica was his toes. These students will help you see the world in different ways, different delightful ways, and maybe come up with a creative solution. We have a solution for a problem that didn't exist when we went down. I mean, the problem did, but the solution didn't. They will certainly help you have a heck of a lot of fun. This picture, you know, the blowing picture, well, that's because David and I were headed back to the lab to get some things, to fix some things we had already broken. He says, ooh, I wonder what would happen if we went parasailing. I think he thought he was joking. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go get the tarp. My transformations, yes, this was a transformative experience for me too. My world is so much bigger. This world that we live in is enormous. After seeing black and white, the only color we saw for that entire experience were the colors of our sea ice crystals. And they are amazing. The colors of our world inspire me now. We walked, and we visited, and we worked in very famous footprints. The scientific legacy inspires me in this place. The experience, now I went down with no more guts than David did. Went down afraid of this experience, and I left knowing, yes, we can do it. Yes, I can help others do this. Yes, in spite of the weather, anything the world could throw at us, yes, we can do it. Now let me dare you. I'm a professor of electrical engineering. How many of you think that's really the most exciting thing you've ever seen in your life? All right, no, even my students didn't raise their hand. Come on, guys. Electrical engineering, especially electromagnetics that I teach, is esoteric, mathematical, and you've got to do a heck of a lot of math before you ever get to do anything that's very much fun. Not that the math isn't fun. So, my classroom often looks like this. And at one point, I had a transformation and said, all right, this is it. I am done lecturing. Because the lecturing doesn't work. It still looks like this when you're done. I am not doing any more lecturing, no more. If you want to know the details of what I'm doing, I will tell you. I am now videotaping my lectures, putting them up free online on YouTube. My students watch them before they come to class, and guess what that gives me? It gives me time for small group work in my classroom. They got to have the math. They can do that without me. They can come back and we can use the math, and that's the place where I can help to transform what they understand. So this conference is about being a muse. A muse is one of the 9 goddesses. It's one of Zeus's daughters. That's a powerful person. I wasn't quite sure if this was me, but here in Christchurch, this is Christchurch, New Zealand, after we came back, David here is an engineer. Heidi on this side is one of my other engineers from a very long time ago. This is a statue of a muse in the Art Museum in New Zealand. Was I a muse? On the bottom of this statue it says ex tenebris lux. That is out of darkness, light. That is our job as a muse. A muse, as I look on the internet, is the source of all knowledge. It's the one who inspires creative endeavor and creative thought. It's creative contemplation. Wow, that's a pretty big job. There is a lot of power in that kind of thinking. So this is really truly how I look at my students, how I look at that classroom of penguins. These students can, in fact, do, in fact, will, in fact, change the world. Engineering is a powerful degree. So are the other degrees on our campus. Those degrees, those students, those people, those thinkers are going to change our world, and I need them to. I can change the world a teeny bit myself, but with that entire classroom, I can really change the world. So go out on a limb. These are our 3 engineers, well, and a mathematician, out on a limb. So from my undergraduate experience to hopefully what I can share for others. In my case, it literally is a signature experience. They signed my quilt. This is an engineering quilt. These are the students who have worked with me. I have almost 100 undergraduates that I've worked with at this point. It is a valuable and enjoyable and engaging thing for me. So this is what I want to give to you. I am the Associate Vice President for Research. For our MUSE project, we will be bringing out soon, it's actually within a month, the MURI website, which is my university research experience. It's a spot where you can upload opportunities for students when you have them, and they can apply for them and find them much like a job. In fact, we're hoping it will eventually be hooked to the Human Resources website where they will be looking for student jobs. This is how we can capture the level of undergraduate research experience that's going on in this campus. And so I would like to offer that to this community. I'd like to thank Dr. Ken Golden, who did in fact lead this expedition. the National Science Foundation that funded it, and Antarctica, New Zealand that took care of us like great parents. And thank you very much. I know that you have had transformation experiences like mine. I tell you, it's pretty dang cool. Thank you very much.